Hello, AutoHACK judges, and thank you so much for volunteering to support this wonderful weekend and this super exciting event. The purpose of the short orientation is to give you an overview about the theme, the challenge topics, the challenge parameters, and the scoring sheet that you will use to be able to assess the pitches that you will be seeing this weekend. So let's start off with the overarching theme for AutoHACK. Teams of 4 to 5 participants are all going to be exploring this very important question. How might we better prepare post-secondary students for the evolving needs of advanced manufacturing? So ultimately, this is to involve students in bridging together two worlds, the world of education and the world of advanced manufacturing. So how do we take something that is constantly changing and getting more complex and more interesting, like the world of advanced manufacturing at Honda, and how do we actually prepare post-secondary students who are interested in that field to hit the ground running should they pursue a career there? Pretty interesting. And also a very big topic. So we actually have divided this overarching theme into 2 specific challenge questions that teams will be dividing up and focusing on independently. So the first challenge topic is to design a concept for an autonomous vehicle that can be used to train post-secondary students. So the idea of this is something that students who are interested in building these vehicles can actually play with to understand how it fits together, to understand the components that go into an autonomous vehicle, and understand how they can actually get involved in just that whole process of designing and creating one of these cutting-edge vehicles. A related challenge that other teams will be working on is to design a concept for a manufacturing cell that can be used to train post-secondary students. So how does the actual manufacturing process work? How do we actually ensure that the assembly line and the individual cells used to actually put these components together, how can we actually help students understand how that works as well and get them excited about getting involved in that side of advanced manufacturing? Now, these 2 challenge topics obviously are 2 sides of the same coin. So although teams will be deciding which topic to focus their prototyping on, they need to consider how they will play together. So teams that are working on the autonomous vehicle challenge need to be designing that autonomous vehicle with the manufacturing cell in mind. And the teams working on the manufacturing cell need to figure out and understand how that's going to relate to the vehicle that is actually being manufactured. So we've actually designed that into the delivery of the hackathon itself. On Saturday, there'll be a moment where the teams can get together and share ideas about what they've been prototyping to ensure that they are linking together the concepts from across these 2 areas. We can't innovate within silos. We need to innovate within a collaborative framework, and that is very much a big part of this whole challenge. So to help the students really understand what success looks like, and to help you as judges understand what success looks like, these are the challenge parameters that we're playing with, and these apply to both of those individual challenge questions, the autonomous vehicle and the manufacturing cell questions. So the first parameter that the students need to be aware of is Honda's needs. So their job over the weekend is to learn everything they can about Honda's technical needs and also their training needs. So what goes on in building a manufacturing or an autonomous vehicle? What goes on in creating a manufacturing cell? We also need to understand a little bit about the training needs and the gaps that exist. So what's missing in terms of a new employee, a new hire, a recent grad that shows up at Honda, and what do we wish they already knew how to do? And students need to be actively searching that out. And we're going to help them. So Honda will be providing a kickoff orientation session just to give the students a clarity around what they're looking for and how their manufacturing works. And there will also be a number of breakout sessions on Friday night that allow students to go deeper into the specific needs of the manufacturing process at Honda. So how well do they listen to what they've learned from Honda is a key thing that we need to be looking for. Secondly, we need to have these students thinking about creating an unrivaled student experience. So this is not just a tech question, this is a question about training and education. So they need to consider the needs of the students that are going to be using these training approaches or these training tools that they're designing. So how do you create something that's engaging and fun and inspires curiosity in the students? All of that needs to come across in what they propose in their designs. Manufacturability is the next parameter. So it needs to be something that it can actually be manufactured and fairly easily. So we don't want concepts that are overly complex or that cost billions of dollars to be able to work. We want real world solutions that can actually be implemented and tested in a very practical way. And then the last parameter to consider is modularity. So a big part of this challenge is how do we prepare students for something that's constantly evolving? So whatever they create in terms of a concept for the autonomous vehicle or the manufacturing cell, they need to have flexibility baked in to their prototype. It needs to be able to adapt to future models and new technologies while maintaining that core unrivaled experience and keeping Honda's needs very much front and center. So here's the actual score sheet itself. It is a digital score sheet, so you'll be able to enter your scores very, very easily using basically a touch screen. And these are the 5 different criteria that you will be assessing. So the first one is the problem solution fit. So to what extent did this team's concept actually address these challenge parameters that we just went over? So you've got this video as a reminder of those parameters. We also will print out a copy of those challenge parameters so that you have them in front of you just as a reminder about what success looks like, what they need to be considering in their design. Concept integration is the second one. So to what extent does the team's concept integrate with the other challenge topic? So the manufacturing cell needs to bear in mind the automotive or the autonomous vehicle and vice versa. So in their pitch, there need to be explicit reference to how this actually plays together and the extent to which they're able to give you a convincing argument as to why these things play really nicely together and what they're going to do to make sure that they integrate that. That's what you'll be evaluating. Right in the center of the scorecard is innovation. So this is just about now to what extent does their concept explore this topic in a really creative or novel way. So that's just your own sort of personal opinion. Is it something that makes you go, oh, cool, I didn't actually think about that. That's really, really interesting, right? So innovation is right at the heart of this. Viability is the next one. So it needs to work in the real world. And scalability, it needs to work at a large scale as well. So if we were to proceed with this work sort of beyond just sort of 1 or 2 students working on this, can this be used to train thousands of students? So cool, lots of stuff to be able to consider. Each one of those parameters you score from 1 to 10. And lastly, I'll just show you, we had a little bit of fun with this because ultimately, although this is an important topic and a serious topic, we want to have some fun as well. That's a big part of the magic of the hackathon is that sense of playfulness. And playfulness and creativity go hand in hand. So you'll see this little scoring sheet right here. If you give a score of 1 out of 10, that's a hackcident needing major improvement, all the way up to hack yeah, which is an absolutely amazing example of them fulfilling one of those challenge criterias on your score sheet. Okay, so have some fun with this. You're going to be seeing a lot of amazing ideas. Each idea will be 4 minutes long. You'll have a chance to ask questions afterwards. Ultimately, this is about creating a creative environment where ideas are shared and we basically build on those. And your job as a judge is not just to assess and evaluate, but to have fun and also to inspire and ask the questions to get students thinking about this longer term as well. We want to leave everyone with an opportunity to continue thinking these awesome ideas, and you're a big part of that. So thanks very much. We're going to be around to answer any questions during the actual day, and let's have some fun.